you guys hear Skype is going to get shut down pretty soon? We're going to have to go back to Zoom.
Come the fuck on.
I'm surprised that Skype is even around still.
It's 22 years old. It's pretty impressive.
I remember...
And yet it still works better than Zoom.
Barely. We have different problems with Skype.
Yeah, with Skype, I can't wear my fucking headphones. When on Zoom, I can.
It's true. It's true.
We should just move to Google Meet. Just do the full cycle of awful.
What do you want to do? Hop in Teams, too? You are a psychopath.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
Welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast, where all three of us are present for the once every full moon, or something like that. I'm one of your co-hosts, Spencer, joined by clowns.
Colin is stroking himself backwards like a cat. His hair is now over his face. It's not the first time he stroked himself backwards today.
It's true.
My beard goes up to my eyes.
Oh, your hair goes up to your eyes. Well, that's cool. Can your hair go down to your mouth? Oh, wait, you're bald, fucker.
My ass hair is still long enough for you to climb up, though. It goes all the way to the ground for your 4 inches.
Sorry, I can't hear you from my dying.
Are you dying of cringe?
No, you.
Yes, cringe.
I wish someone would, pierce my spine so Rose Byrne could push me around in a wheelchair. That would be my make-a-wish wish.
So who could?
The actor who plays Moira McTaggart in X-Men First Class, which is our topic for today. I knew you were going to go there.
Moira. She the one?
Did
you watch the movie?
I did, but I don't know their names. Fuck.
At the end of the movie, when he's in the wheelchair and he's being pushed around by a pretty lady.
Oh yeah, she was with them during the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the Fed. Scottish erasure.
And she pretended to be a stripper at one point.
Yeah, yes, that did happen. I'm so glad. There we go. It clicked.
Yes,
I was trying to avoid this.
Yo, what the fuck? Take that back.
No.
What did he say?
He said she's mid.
Ugh.
Dude.
I won't take it back.
Brother, what the fuck? She plays one of Padme's decoys in Star Wars, which means she's on par with Natalie Portman, at least.
Incorrect.
Yo, what the fuck is wrong with it? He just doesn't like Australian women. What the fuck?
I really don't. They're all whores.
Speaking of whores, we give Matt Murdock a bad rap, but Charles Xavier is probably the worst slut in all of the Marvel universe.
That's true. He has alien kids on other planets.
He was gaming the system in the bar really, really hard. He eventually ends up with Moira at the end of the movie.
Hey, see, Matt might be a whore because he's Catholic, but at least he doesn't have kids with random people.
That's true. That's actually my largest takeaway, other than the fact that First Class is one of my favorite X-Men movies by a wide margin.
Oh, yes.
Neck and neck with X2, probably. Yes. I really like that for this soft half reboot. They didn't know what they were fully doing at the time. I actually think the characterization of both Charles and Eric is more in line with their comic versions than the ones from the original trilogy. I love Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. They're amazing. But I These two are better. It's a shame they're just in worse movies after this, because I think especially James McAvoy is really good at balancing. Charles has really good ideals and he's incredibly intelligent, but he's got a little bit of an ego in there, and he's a little easy to distract with a lot of things, but I don't know. I like not going with he's always been like a paternalistic dad figure, because he's not even that in the comics. He never really was. That's more of a movie choice, which worked well for those movies, but these two play off of each other so ridiculously well. It's disgusting.
They don't get into it as much as they could have, but there's a little sliver of like Charles isn't, totally white to Magneto's totally black. He's making weapons basically for the American government. So yeah, he's not completely innocent either. And so I mean, there's what?
But he is a Jew.
I was saying Charles isn't completely innocent. Like he's often mistaken for.
Yeah, because he's Jew.
Oh my god. Okay, call him. Bro. Speaking of, it's pretty well notated by now, but the opening sequence in Auschwitz goes ridiculously hard. What?
That's a wild fucking statement.
It's disturbing, dude, and it's dark, but
that shit went really hard, dude.
As in, one, for an opener to a movie, and two, we've already seen a similar scene done, I believe in X2, if I remember correctly, but like as a shorthand for Magneto's origin, of which this script originated as like a Magneto solo movie, just of him going on Nazi killing adventures, which you can feel in the script in a good way. It's a really good tone setter for the movie. It's brief, but it's handled really well, especially integrating the main villain that they chose for this as a part of Magneto's origin rather than just, I don't know, it ties it into the movie itself better, I think.
I don't really have a good way of improving it, but I always forget that Kevin Bacon's in this movie. Like, his character is kind of cool, but he just kind of is there in the story. He's not an impending threat, really. I don't know. It's just yeah.
I don't give a shit about them, honestly. Like, they probably could have done better if they just made it like just a fucking Nazi as a villain.
I think a lot of that might have to do with the fact that they decided to take what's the character's actual name? The dude, whatever the fuck. He's originally part of the Hellfire Club, but he's also not a mutant. That's a large part of his character in the comics, is just being like a dude who's very powerful and eventually gets involved in some shit. Like, it's not just, it feels like they kind of took away a part of his like social acumen to the fact that he just has really cool powers, but it comes across more one note than it potentially could. It doesn't feel like he's super mega smart or whatever.
Also, this movie killed off like one of the coolest X-Men characters ever.
Darwin.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, I like Darwin dying for the joke. I think it's really funny.
No, it's not funny. It's stupid. It's so dumb. One, of course, it's like every other movie in that time period where, oh, there's a black guy, he dies. He dies first. It's always a black guy. And then two, they kill off a character that his power is that he can't fucking die.
Exactly. It's funny.
No, it's not. It's stupid. It's lazy fucking writing because they don't know what to fucking do with him. Yes, it's the same thing with how they fucked up Hulk.
That's true.
It's the same bullshit. We don't know what to do with this character, so we're just going to either nerf them or kill them. Huh? You have so much source material?
I always interpreted Darwin dying as like a very direct, yes, he can't die, Lamau. Like, I don't know. I always interpreted it as a joke, like in the movie. But
no, there's no way to take it as a joke. I think that's just you. That is just a you thing right there. Definitely not a joke. If anything, it's more like it's supposed to be this whole situation where it's like, oh yeah, they all feel like young and alive and bullshit. You know, like when you're young and shit, you're like, oh, I'm invincible. And the guy that's literally invincible dies. So I get the whole setup is that like, oh, even though you have these powers as a mutant, you still have the ability to fucking die. So it brings real life and like real like agency to them. But you didn't have to do that with him. He's such a cool character.
That is true. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Or at least kill him off at the end of the movie. At the very least, give him a full fucking movie.
When I was a child and I saw this for the first time when it first came out, I was intrigued by Kevin Bacon's submarine, because the rudders at the back of the boat that steered the boat are in the shape of an X instead of like up and down and left and right. And I don't understand how that works.
XMen, bro.
I understand the symbology, but it's not practical. It doesn't make sense.
No, that's just mutant powers.
I don't know, man. You're dating a ginger.
No.
Redhead.
Gingers?
As per the rules, gingers are unfuckable. It's weird that this is the only movie with Emma Frost and I think Moira McTaggart. I don't know about the last couple of Fox movies because I slept through those.
I believe Moira is in the next two, Days of Future Past and Apocalypse. She just has a diminished role. Emma Frost definitely is a shame because this is around the time period where
she's in a movie.
I mean, technically speaking, no, because she appeared in X-Men Origins Wolverine, but we don't talk about that. Exactly.
Emma Frost is a huge like X-Men character, like one of the most recognizable ones in the comics. So it's weird that she's only been used this one time.
Especially because around the late 2000s, early 2010s, like when this script would have been getting developed was when they were really pushing her to the front, which was cool. That might be why they chose to do it, but they might have felt like they didn't have enough material to pull from yet in terms of kind of giving her depth. She is mostly here for eye candy, which works. I'm not complaining. But in terms of like, if I would like to see her character again, I do really like the weird relationship her and Scott have in the comics when Jean's out of the picture. I think that dynamic has a lot of value to it. It's really interesting. And at some point it would be nice to see that like tried.
It's not cheating if she's telepathically mind raping me.
No, it's not cheating if Jean is dead. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah, that too.
It's not like Jean's not dying every 5 minutes anyways.
That's true.
I really wish this had been indicative of how this universe was gonna be and not just the highlight.
Yeah. It also went through development hell, which is pretty impressive. Like Matthew Vaughn, the director, and I think co-writer, came in like halfway through production. Like this was a mess from the get-go, and he just kind of salvaged it and turned it into one of the better entries. It's pretty strange.
At this point, every fucking superhero movie sounds like that, because I swear, every single time we talk about a superhero movie, it's like, oh, it's actually like kind of insane that this movie came out because it was in like developmental hell. It's like, I'm pretty sure that's like every movie at this point.
That is kind of true. You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. So it's like, that's not like a, wow, this guy saved it. No, that's just every movie, and he's just got the credit for it.
It's just another day in the office.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's just movies, dude.
It's a shame Matthew Vaughn hasn't been able to conjure any sauce for about 10 years now.
Oof.
It's also kind of weird.
He's been on
like the original X-Men lineup.
I honestly like this lineup. It's a little shallow in terms of like what the characters are given to do, but there's enough in common with what we're familiar with from the previous movies in terms of Charles and Eric. Mystique is definitely a highlight of this movie. This was the only one of these where Jennifer Lawrence gave a shit. And I think she's really good in this one. Beast is dope. It's a shame his role just gets repeated every movie after this.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult is great. Nicholas Hoult has been grinding out like big movies for ages. It's nice to see him like finally get like the really big shit now.
Yeah, he's like actually getting good roles and shit. I think it's because of that medieval show that he was a part of. Not
Probably.
medieval, but he was in a show playing like a shitty king, and this he marries this woman and she takes the throne and stuff, but she keeps him around only because his tongue is good. Literally.
I know what show you're talking about. I just can't remember what the fuck it is. But
I have no idea.
Like
I just know
he's been in the trenches for a long time, pumping out good performances. But like, dude, literally did try out. He's been like he tried out for Batman and Superman, and then finally got Lex Luthor. Like it took him a while, but he's been here since we were like.
Shit!
10.
Yeah, he's playing Lex Luthor.
This fucking guy.
Have we had Havoc outside of this movie?
I believe he made a brief appearance in Apocalypse ? But no, it's just this one.
Days of Future Past, and then he died.
Oh yeah, you're right. But yeah,
wait,
it's just this one.
No, because Days of Future Past was like mainly, it was like during the period of that of the X-Men being like disbanded, and Charles got his hair back and had no powers and blah blah blah.
I like these deep, quote unquote, deep cuts. The inclusion of the X-Men characters that are still like really big in the comics, but aren't like Professor X and Cyclops and Magneto. Like,
right.
I like having the OGs, and that I like that this movie did all that.
Yeah, it actually feels like there's actual like different generations of teams, and I think this is one of the only movies that really hits that. Also, just using Havoc like gives you like a sort of continuity with like he has very similar powers to Cyclops because he's his brother, but it's just like it's obviously not mentioned in this one whatsoever. But it gives it's something kind of similar, but it's still a different character, and that I cannot remember that actor's name, but he does give a very good performance in this one. And then Banshee's just like there, but I like that because Banshee's a whack ass character and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It is Apocalypse, my bad.
And that's why I don't know, because I swear I've seen the opening 10 minutes 10 times and then just fallen asleep. That movie sucks so bad.
Yeah, it's rough.
That's how I was about Dark Phoenix.
Yep.
Oof.
I actually made it through that one. Surprisingly.
Dude, those two are bad for like entirely different reasons. It's really weird.
And I think they came out side by side, and it was just like, what the fuck is happening? Why do these movies suck so bad?
I actually really liked X-Men Days of Future Past.
I did too.
I think it's mainly because of Wolverine.
Yeah. I liked it when it came out, but I think I've soured on it since then. Like everyone still regards it seems like
we should wait to talk about that one until the next month, though.
Yeah. First Class is very good and fun. Fun camera work, and also stabbing Nazis is fun.
Definitely my favorite X-Men movie. I've rewatched it so many times before, like on my own, before the show.
Out of all of them?
Yeah. Yep.
What, Colin? What's above it then? You gotta share with the class.
I'm sure he's gonna say one of the OG X-Men or X2.
It's two, and this is probably more on par with one, I guess. I don't know.
I think it's got to be like X1.
Really?
I think it's got to be X1, or maybe even Days of Future Past.
What? No,
yeah, dude.
That is a common opinion. I just don't screw with that movie that much. It just doesn't tickle my taint. But we'll do that. We'll get to that. I haven't seen it in like 3 or 4 years, so that'll be fun.
We gotta watch the road cut.
That's true. It adds a whole 8 minutes and 2 scenes, but they're good.
Well, it switches out scenes because it's road instead of Kitty Pryde, which I think makes more sense.
Yes.
All right. For personal reviews, I'm going to be sharing this one with Colin. We watched Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh boy.
It came out this year.
We did.
Oh boy.
We
Oh,
did.
dear.
We made it all the way through. What I did not know before I started it, I started it watching it as its very own thing. It's Marvel animation, so I went into it like clean slate and was very confused. It turns out you're supposed to watch this after Spider-Man No Way Home because of all of the timeline fuckery that happens in that movie with Doctor Strange.
Uh-huh. This is
Which
dog
explains
shit.
why I was getting frustrated, because it started out, both of you were bitching about it, and I was like, I don't know, I'll try it, I'll see for myself. And I saw the first episode, I was like, that's not that bad, I kind of like this actually. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And then with the realization that it's based off of No Way Home, it's such an awful idea. But I liked that it does old school Spider-Man. Like, it does the he's saving cats and stopping purse thieves, and he's always late for school, and there's a girl at school that he likes, and he can't make it to work on time. It's all the classic old school Spider-Man. But then you have all the multiverse shit thrown on top of it, and it brings it down.
No. It's not even classic Spider-Man, fuck ass. Not even close. Spider-Man is, I don't know how many times I have to tell people this, how many times I have to talk about this. Spider-Man is a teenager for like 5 seconds. Like 5 seconds. He's always a college student. They want to keep him a teenager forever. I don't know why. I don't know where this comes from. This makes no fucking sense. He's not a teenager. He's me. He's a dumb piece of shit, broke ass, like almost 30-year-old man.
Bro, we're not almost 30. One of us is 30.
We're halfway there.
One of us is not 30 yet, fuck ass.
So, okay. The show is ass
Yes.
in every single fucking way. How do you I'm sorry, how do you screw up a Spider-Man origin story this fucking bad?
Yeah.
So his origin story is a fucking paradox? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
It does the Terminator 1 paradox, and I hate it.
What is this? I thought the whole point of the show was supposed to fix that. Like, the whole point of No Way Home was to be like, hey, basically we screwed up Spider-Man and now we're fixing him. Look, he's Spider-Man again. Okay, now we do an origin story. It's like, oh, cool. We have this really cool concept for him, right? Oh, look, this is mirroring Ditko's art style. This is so cool. Oh, wait, we're going to fuck it up by making it painted on 3D rigs. Are you kidding me?
I don't understand that science. I think the point of that, I have a theory about this.
Budget cuts. It's cheaper.
No, well, okay, maybe. But I was thinking it's for still frame, for promotional use, like, because as a still picture, it looks okay. But in motion, it looks awful.
Looks awful everywhere, man. No, it looks awful everywhere because you can tell in the 3D, you can tell there is so much, like, there's a difference between 3D negative space between objects and then 2D negative space. You can tell, or maybe I can tell, but you can fucking tell, and it eats me alive. It's like this shit is so fucking bad. Bad.
I
As
don't mind.
someone who did not watch this show, I will probably do it eventually just to suffer. I think, especially coming from Marvel Animation, which is like a whole new department and a bunch of different studios, X-Men 97 proves you can do 3D animation to look like 2D animation.
Yes, you can.
And this does not look like that at all. It's not supposed to look like it, but you get my point.
No, okay. So here's also, I have so many thoughts on this. Jacob, are you done with your thoughts before I go?
Oh dear.
No, we were gonna share the space.
Okay, cool. If we're sharing
Share the negative space, buddy.
Go for a hot second.
Sit on my lap.
Art style, fucking whack. Origin story, fucking whack. So I get redoing the origin, like redoing like his past or whatever. I get at least for a first season being a teenager or something, because it's like, oh, here's how he became Spider-Man. And I was okay with him becoming Spider-Man after Uncle Ben's death. That's fine. That can happen. Don't care. But him getting the spider the way he did, stupid. Also, his Spider-Man costume. So Osborn is just another Tony Stark. Fuck you. We get a whole episode of him getting all these shitty costumes. And then he gets his Fantastic Four costume.
Why is he wearing a Future Foundation suit? What the fuck? It doesn't make sense.
Fuck you. And then he gets his actual Spider-Man suit like 2 episodes before the last. What is this? This isn't Daredevil season 1. This doesn't make sense why this happens, okay?
They're repeating the same steps that they had problems with in the MCU movies, of like a bunch of costumes pre like regular Spider-Man costume.
Shut up. They're making Spider-Man stupid, okay? Like, he is only smart in chemistry. Is that what you're telling me? Bullshit. He's the most OP character in all of Marvel. He is. He's the best. He knows how to do shit just because he does. And he learns, I mean, not just because he does, but he learns shit. And he learns fast. Also, why is his vigilante suit so, like, shit at first? Like, I can understand having, like, it was actually cool, his like vigilante suit being this like tubed up web shooters, and there's tubes going down, but they weren't like close to his arms. I would understand if they're trying to be realistic where there needs to be a little bit of flex, but to be like all the way down, maybe it was to mimic the web, like the armpit webs, whatever, still dumb. And like, this is what makes him cool, is that he figures out how to make his own suit. And it's not durable, but like it looks nice. Like, that's the whole point. And he gets it from just fucking Osborn. Also, I actually like race swapped Osborns.
Because he's got the waves.
I was gonna talk about that. I never understood the waves on a white guy. Never, ever, ever. I hated it.
I can explain it.
Well, yeah, you can. You could probably model it for us.
Can I explain why?
But I like it better as Black Norman Osborn. Because
it doesn't change who they are. Like, they're just rich dudes. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Their personalities aren't changing. They're not trying to be like a virtue signaling black people like how they do with like gender swapping. Also, Mrs. Connors, I was pissed about at first, and then I was like, oh, you can gender swap as long as they're kind of hot. Her personality.
We can still complain about Norman Osborn being replaced and used as Iron Man, or Tony Stark. That's BS. But the fact that they're race swapped doesn't really change anything. It explains his hairstyle better. Like, that's pretty much it.
Right. The only reason why they did that was because he has curly hair. Like, both Osborns have curly hair, but because it's supposed to be like short, tight, curly hair, but because of the artist, we're like, I don't know how to fucking do this, and also how to make it like actually show up on print, so he's getting cornrows. It's just really tight.
Weird.
Yeah, so that's why that happened.
What did you guys, aside from the writing of the character, I did hear a decently positive response in terms of like the voice actor who is playing him.
Incredible. I liked it a lot. I'm that sinister growl all the time, and like, it doesn't make sense to the character as he's being used, but he sounds awesome.
Wait, which character are we talking about? Osborn?
Norman.
Yeah, Norman.
Oh yeah, Norman's great.
Okay, I'm curious because I really like Coleman Domingo. He's been getting a lot of attention recently. He's really cool, and he's like expressed interest in playing the character in live action and blah 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 blah. But like, I've really been liking his roles recently, and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch the show, but I am curious how that panned out, at least.
Daredevil cameo was whack as hell.
Yeah.
So they are just doing his first suit, like the whole sweatsuit, but they gave him his Daredevil helmet, all black. Like, he's got red lenses. It goes over like this, and there's horns. So it's a cool suit, don't get me wrong. Also, he has this, like, billy club, which is cool, but doesn't make sense for the timeline. He would just, like... You can't fuck up the timeline that bad, because the whole No Way Home shit only fucked with Peter. Like, that's the only thing. Like, I forget that, like, Peter just doesn't exist to anyone else. So that's why we don't have, like, Ned or MJ, quote unquote MJ. For some reason, these writers are terrified to bring Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy into this universe. I don't know why. They're pussies for not doing that. Grow a pair. Write them.
I know Nico is
from Runaways.
Yeah, I knew she was a character. I'm pretty sure she's in Midnight Suns. But
I looked her up. She's actually pretty badass. But why the fuck is she in Spider-Man?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
She was like she's interacted with him a couple times and has maybe been in half of a run. But she shouldn't be a main staple like Spider-Man friend.
She's usually included in the spoopy teams.
Yeah, she's
mystical
a
stuff.
Chick.
Yeah,
dude,
she's got the stick,
and a staff comes out of her chest. That's badass.
It's true.
Why is she in Spider-Man? Daredevil, whack. Also,
they did a big flip, and Daredevil was like, "Stop it."
Daredevil also sees Spider-Man as like the best of us, canonically. This just shows him like they're never going to have that dynamic together. Ever. Like, that fucking sucks, dude. It's so stupid. Doctor Strange looks weird as fuck.
I like this coat. It was the old school coat. I like this coat.
I think it's the gloves that threw me off.
Dude, the gloves are goated.
The gloves are like fucking cheetah print or whatever. It's like, what the fuck?
Does Colin have any positives about this show other than some characters are cool sometimes?
No, dude. No. It's ass.
I hated Aunt May.
Ass.
She sucked.
Huh?
I hated Aunt May. She sucked.
She did suck, but would.
Nah.
Would. Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. I mean, when Spider-Man got his actual suit, he looked pretty cool.
Once he earned the suit, it was very cool.
Spider-Man shouldn't have to fucking earn his suit.
But Daredevil does have to earn his double Ds.
What character earns their suit? Yeah, we kept complaining about not having Daredevil's double Ds, and they just give him big-ass titties in the new show. That's what they did. They gave him huge muscle paddings.
Hey, man, I like the new double Ds. I'll take it.
No. Get your fat shit out of here. No.
Are you guys done?
I don't know, dude. I want to complain about this for like hours.
I think they're doing Luke Cage with a different character, and that was weird. Lincoln, what's his face? The kid in the gang.
Yeah, that's Tombstone.
Yeah, that's another one. Why is Tombstone the same age as fucking Peter Parker? He's a mob boss eventually, and he becomes like completely fucking white. Like, because he gets into a fucking accident.
I don't know anything about this character. I can't help you.
He's a big Spider-Man villain, like huge. Like he was in Spectacular Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man.
Interesting.
Spectacular Spider-Man's like the best one. That's the one I noticed him in, and which actually, to cleanse my palate, I
knew it.
Go.
That was my immediate thought as soon as you said Spectacular. I was like, I bet he's gonna watch it to clear his brain.
Yeah, of course I am. It's like peak Spider-Man show.
Yes.
They pretty much do everything perfect in that show.
I think I'm done bitching. Not that I've really really bitched much.
I bet I got another thing. Give me 1 second. I bet you I have something else up my sleeve to complain about.
Oh. There was it felt like too many characters at one point, because it's like his fellow classmates at Osborne Industries is like a whole crew of people. It's like it's someone from Wakanda. I don't remember the name. It's Amadeus Cho. It feels like it's not quite Easter eggs or head nods. It feels like they're going to try to do too much.
Yeah, that was pretty whack. I didn't really give a shit about that. But yeah, it did feel like, oh, I loved Doc Ock.
Yeah, he had the glasses. I liked the glasses a lot.
Yeah, he was like, everything about him was original Doc Ock. Like, everything.
I think Colin just feels happy to be represented.
Even the weapons trading?
Literally. So if you watch the show, he's he's me, because he's stuck. He just hangs out in his lab all the time, and he has this like lab assistant that called him, and he's like, "What are you doing, calling me during my brainstorming time, my private brainstorming?" And he's like, "Well, I figured that I check up on you and blah blah blah." And he's like,
"Have you eaten?"
He's like, "I'm a grown," and he looks around, it's just chips and soda. He's like, "I'm a grown man. I know how to feed myself." And then what's his face is like, "Are you playing that video game again?" And it just shows a screen, and it's like it's this game where you can XP farm. And he said, "Well, yeah, of course. I'm exploiting this XP farm before the developers realize it's there and get rid of it." And I'm like, "No, that's me. It's me. It's literally me,
bro."
Dude, it's so bad. You gotta watch that show just to get to that point, because you'd be like, oh my gosh, it's literally Colin.
Fine.
Because Connor was even watching the show with me. And he saw that, he's like, bro, that's literally you. It makes sense. And I'm like, fuck off!
Colin, are the arms talking to you?
No, they whisper sweet nothings into my ear.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. Spencer. All right, enough from Spencer.
So staying actually on the MCU train real quick, I watched Captain America Brave New World, and it was okay. It wasn't great. I do have some positives, though. So...
Wait. Before going on,
no spoilers.
Did it make
Shut up?
Did it make you appreciate Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yes, shut up!
I knew it. I was thinking about that today. I was like, damn, that show was like probably one of the only good Marvel shows we'll ever get in years. Anyways, okay. Continue.
So the reception was mixed. It's fairly commercially successful, but because I wasn't able to see it opening weekend, I've been busy. I was able to kind of pull my expectations down during the marketing ramp up. When we were talking about the news, Jacob and I talked about it a couple of times. The trailers were pretty damn good, but it definitely came across like it was going to be a pretty, like the political thriller element would be not really. No teeth. It's not really relevant. It's just like it's a plot device, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It just so Falcon and Winter Soldier is really good up until a certain point where the rewrites and the COVID shoots really fucked them, and then they decide to completely undercut their own message. It got so damn close. And in addition to that, it was generally written really well and looked fucking incredible. But the internal ideological inconsistency literally crashes that thing right into the ground for me, which is really frustrating because otherwise it's stupidly good. This one has the same problem in a different way. It ends up being about as enjoyable at the end of the day, but because it consistently hits right in the middle in terms of quality of like, well, that character's cool. That costume looks bad. That costume looks good. That line was good. Holy shit, that fight looked bad. Holy shit, that fight looked good. This is another one that kind of got stuck in development hell. It seems like the mainstream coverage of how many reshoots this one went under was actually accurate, which does kind of suck because it's kind of obvious in terms of how especially how the plot mechanics work out. They definitely had different ideas at different parts of like the writing process and the shooting process, and it's kind of all shoved together in a box and like vaguely blended together, but not really. There's a lot of obvious like, oh, that's added ADR, and oop, that was definitely shot on a different day, and all that junk. Like, it's nitpicky, but it does add up after a while. Harrison Ford was surprisingly decent as Thaddeus Ross. His role is written fine. I like the idea of his character arc in terms of he wanted to like be a different person than he used to be, especially as we know him in the MCU pretty briefly, but there's a direct, my daughter is estranged, I want to be a better guy, blah, blah. And I actually like that. It's corny as fuck, but that's not inherently a bad thing. Harrison Ford kind of gave a shit for this. Like, he didn't go hard as hell like he can sometimes, but it wasn't a phoned in performance, which is kind of what I was expecting when he was announced to be the replacement. I was like, oh boy. And I actually like how they utilized him becoming Red Hulk. I thought was done fairly well in terms of plot mechanics and like how his character arc functioned. However, they should not have marketed that whatsoever. That should have been an actual twist in the movie. I'm trying really hard not to spoil shit. Like, it doesn't really matter, but still, principle or whatever. But it's all over the marketing like crazy. And I think if they had avoided that and stuck with the grounded political thriller for the first like half of the movie, and then you actually build up to a bigger twist, which the comic readers would have seen coming a mile away. I don't know. I just think that would have worked better. Whereas in this movie, I'm just waiting for it to happen, and I don't know. It really undercut the tension. Anthony Mackie consistently is fucking awesome, and it's a shame that this is his first like film outing as Cap, because he gives a really good performance. And this is, he does not have a lot of material to work with, and pretty much everything that this touches on in terms of Sam's like inferiority complex to Steve and like the underpinning racialized element of it is handled better in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and also not resolved, but in terms of like his own internal conflict is kind of boxed up a little bit. And then this just like nudges at it, and it doesn't really feel like it does anything with it, which is very frustrating. Joaquin Torres as the new Falcon is fine. The actor is decent. He's funny. It's okay. This is I enjoyed it, but I think primarily because I pulled my expectations down so much, and I was like, I'm expecting it to be a mess. And it is a mess, but it's still kind of enjoyable. I think when I walked out of the theater, I'm pretty sure I texted Jacob and said, like, that was like Iron Man 2 in a sense of like, it is really shallow. It's not that deep. They could have gone harder, but they didn't. But it's a decent watch. It's not like we're nowhere near like Ant-Man or like Secret Invasion levels of bad, by no means. It's just it's underwhelming. Jacob, what's
so you found a
funny?
movie that didn't almost make you cry?
Yeah, yes, Colin. I found a movie that did not make me cry.
That's a good comeback.
First,
my answer to Spencer's Iron Man 2 comment was something about how the movie stars a villainous, money-hungry oligarch, and also Justin Hammer.
No, it's fine, and that's. Like, I'm not even sitting here like, oh no, it's another mid-ass entry. Like, I'm not even upset about that. Like, I moved on. There is one scene which I did think was done pretty well. There is an interaction between Sam and another character who if you ever watch the movie, you'll know it when you see it. There's a interpersonal exchange with him and somebody else in one room, and I actually thought that was done really, really well. In terms of his inferiority complex and encouragement and whatever and all that sort of stuff. That was pretty cool. Some of the hand-to-hand combat scenes were surprisingly solid, especially in the first half. The flight sequences are okay. They're underbaked as expected, but they're not bad. Like, the choreography is okay. The Hulk fights are fine. The the actual design for that was surprisingly good. I'm kind of impressed. It's not that the Hulk and how he interacts with the world is, amazing. We're not like 2012 Avengers level here. It's not that good. But in terms of how much it actually does look like Harrison Ford being a Hulk was pretty impressive. That was cool. Also, the Hulk, the Red Hulk is hot. Like, it's not explicitly stated, but like he burns things off of him, and they actually use that, which was pretty cool. But yeah, when it comes to Sam and having like hand-to-hand combat scenes with some dudes, it's surprisingly solid. It's not incredible, but I was like, oh shit, that like it's actually good at demonstrating that Sam does not have the super soldier serum, and if he's not in his cap suit, like he does not have powers. He's just a dude who's really good at his fucking job, and that's cool. And I think that they demonstrated that really well. He's particularly resourceful. Nanotech helmet bad, but both Captain America wingsuits are good.
I swear, every time a Hulk freezes titties, Spencer has to say that it's hot.
Nanotech is ruining Marvel so bad. It's ruining the whole cool, fun, like, oh, this person's putting on this cloth mask, this person's putting on this helmet. Like, that shit just feels so good to see. But then we just get all this cool nanotech. Like, so it kind of made sense for Iron Man.
Iron Man in Infinity War was genuinely the best use of it in the MCU. Like, that was good.
Yeah, because it makes sense he would use that. I don't want to see that on Spider-Man. I don't want to see that on any other superheroes. I accepted it with Black Panther. Yeah. Even though I'd rather Civil War suit over Black Panther.
Oh yeah.
And I love the Black Panther movie. It's actually one of my favorite Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Even though I know it has some bad CGI and bad, like, some boring stuff, I still love that movie nonetheless.
Yeah. I think it does work decent.
Because it talks about like tradition and stuff like that, and I love that like cultural tradition type shit. I love it.
No, for sure. It's just, yeah, it's clearly become a cost cutting measure instead of like, especially we saw that in Love and Thunder as well. It's like you couldn't make a fucking Thor helmet. What are you doing,
bro? Get a 3D fucking printer.
Exactly.
You're a cosplayer. You can make everything cheap and make
it a piece of styrofoam, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. And honestly, the Cap look without the helmet, like the helmet is the whole. It's like when he's in high flight, he needs the oxygen mask. That tracks. In the like headband goggle look is fucking great. So they should have just stuck with that. I like it. I'll take it. I like that general design for Sam when he's Cap in the books, and I think it works well on Anthony Mackie. But as soon as they go, and now he presses the button that makes his fucking head covered, it's like, no, it's ugly.
Like, well, hold on. I'm mainly annoyed about it because I liked how his mask looked in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I know for a fact the only reason why he doesn't have that is because he complained about it.
Yeah. On the one hand, I get why it's a pain in the ass, but it's like,
you're a fucking actor. Deal with it. Stop being a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
One of the easiest fucking jobs in the world. Get on stage, pretty boy, okay? Dance.
Like, I do like that the cowl, like the half cowl on the neck. I do think that is a good look. They do use that suit earlier in the movie with some modifications, which was cool, and then he switches over to a more like navy suit. They're both good. It is just the top of the dome. Can we just go back to me hating like the Avengers Captain America suit because only the helmet looked bad and the rest of it was fucking awesome, but the helmet looked fucking stupid? At least I could see him physically put it on and then just complain that it fit weird.
So what's funny is I didn't even complain. I wasn't even like annoyed with that his mask changed, and I barely even noticed. But I got annoyed because I heard the actor complain about it, and that's what pissed me off. I'm like, you fucking dumb bitch. How do you think every Batman actor feels? Shut up, dude. The top of your head is completely open. You're fine. Deal with it.
Well, at least Pattinson doesn't feel like that, because Jawline McGee over there got his shit hanging out.
This is true. I mean, but also, I can get over it. If I didn't hear that comment from him, the actor himself, I could have gotten over it easier, because Captain America barely ever had his helmet on.
Yeah.
Which is like, whatever, fine.
It's just odd. it's not like I'm sitting here like, oh, I recommend it was, but it was a decent time. Like, I'm not mad I watched it. I just don't think I'm gonna rewatch it.
I'm probably gonna go watch it because Wesley wants to go watch it for his birthday.
That's fair. That's fair. It's like if you guys were with me, I would have enjoyed it more. I've been like, yeah, it was a decent time. Like, I'm not, over the moon about it, but there's elements that I definitely liked.
How does it fall into this phase? What's better?
Ooh, that's a good question. So that's actually
where we at now. Are we at phase?
We are in 5. We are in
Still in
5. Yes, sir.
It's the never-ending
Please hold. I
phase.
have my list.
Because they keep fucking
No,
around.
4 was the never-ending phase, bro.
Oh, maybe I have that mixed up with this one.
Wait, which phase was 4?
So I have my list. Let me speak. So phase 4.
Let him pull his lists out.
Yeah, I'm on Letterboxd, motherfucker.
He has his list of lists.
Okay,
Yes.
phase 4 ended with what?
So I don't remember which. I don't remember which one came out of which order. I have my ranking. Phase 4 was Werewolf by Night, Multiverse of Madness, Loki Season 1, Wakanda Forever, WandaVision, She-Hulk, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, Hawkeye, Shang-Chi, Moon Knight, Eternals, Ms. Marvel, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Black Widow, No Way Home, and Love and Thunder. That was the never-ending phase. That was when the COVID shit happened. That's when the whole order got fucked up. And then phase 5... Please hold. Where is it? There it is. Phase 5 is Loki Season 2, Echo, Guardians 3, Agatha All Along, Deadpool and Wolverine, The Marvels, Brave New World, Secret Invasion, and Quantumania. So in terms of Phase 5 itself, Secret Invasion and Quantumania are like literal poop from a butt. Like, never again.
Yeah.
And then we have this and the Marvels and Deadpool and Wolverine all get the same rating for completely different reasons, but they're roughly the same level of quality, just different types of enjoyment.
Yeah.
Wait, what phase is Daredevil in?
Born Again would be in phase 5. It's not out. It's not done yet, so I don't have it on my list.
Right.
So yeah, Brave New World, the Marvels, and Deadpool and Wolverine are all like 3 out of 5 for me. And then Agatha All Along is a 3.5, and then Loki Season 2, Echo, and Guardians are 4 out of 5.
Okay.
So it's been a strange phase. I'm not going to deny that. We also did have a pretty big gap. I believe it was between Deadpool and Wolverine, and this was one of the larger gaps we've had in a while.
All right.
Anyways,
I think I'm done talking about phases now.
Yes.
I don't have anything in particular. I'm just going to do a speed run of what I've been watching lately. I watched Nosferatu and gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Hell yeah.
I had a really good reason for a half star off, and I forget why.
It's the snow.
Oh, yes, thank you.
You were
digital
having
snow.
a conniption.
Yep, that's absolutely right. I thought it was somebody's performance, but no, you're right. The digital snow was driving me nuts. Because it would just it would fizzle out in the middle of the screen, and it wouldn't land on anything. It would just, it didn't look right. It did not look good. I didn't like it. I watched Usual Suspects finally. Unfortunately, I had the ending spoiled for me a long time ago, and that's why I put it off for so long, because it's well, now I know that it's got one of the greatest twists ever, so why should I watch? But I watched just because I could. It's old when you see the two towers.
Girl, is that ass 9/11? Because I'll never forget it.
Damn, girl, you shit with that ass? Because Allah Akbar, dude.
Damn.
When you
Is
feel
it
bad.
2001? Because the way this bush got me dying.
When you feel bad for laughing at the first 9/11 joke, but then the second one hits.
Oh, man.
Anyway, Usual Suspects was fine. I watched Record, which was made in Spain, I believe. It was all Spanish-speaking horror movie. It was quick. It was 78 minutes long. It was to the point. It was spoopy. It was good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then I watched a bunch of shitty giallo that I'm not even going to admit I even watched. So it's been a pretty good week so far of just general movie viewing.
I'm
I'm going to call out one of our patrons, though. Jeff Lawrence has been on a weird kick lately. He's doing fucking Giallo, like, alongside me, but then he'll go off and do a spaghetti western, and then he'll do, like, a 1920 black and white.
He's watching a silent film at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's all over the place right now. It's weird.
I love him for it. He's such a weird guy.
Yeah, me too.
He makes me look like I have mainstream taste.
He got that ass.
Yeah,
He got that ass.
Okay.
Don't make that face, Colin. You know it's true. Your turn.
I watched Monkey Man.
Ooh.
I watched it with Connor last night.
Okay,
And
really quick. There's like 3 monkey movies in theaters right now. Which one is this one?
Monkey Man.
I know
Not,
that. Is
not in
that...
theaters. It came out like
Last year.
last year.
It's so good.
You know the movie The Green Knight?
The action movie, right?
Yeah, it's an action movie.
Yeah, okay.
So
It's not the
basically-
one with the weird monkey that's become a celebrity or something.
No, that is A Better Man,
Okay.
which did go hard, actually.
Okay. Doubt. But Monkey Man is about this crap, I can't remember his name. But it's about this guy who's trying to seek revenge for the death of his mother, and this corporation that's hiding under the guise of being like a spiritual revolution. He's in the same vein. He is also taking them down by killing their main guys, because they in killing his mother, they also stole their land that they lived on, claiming it to be a holy land. And this all takes place in like India or something.
It's India, yeah.
The main character is played by the same guy. I can't remember his name, but he played the main character in The Green Knight, which
Dev Patel.
got my attention. Sorry, what's that?
Dev Patel. He's fantastic.
He is.
And also, he directed this fucking movie.
Because I love him in The Green Knight. So, before I even came into this, I saw someone online say it's like John Wick, but so it's under the guise of being John Wick, but then proves itself to be something more. And so I, before even watching this, to convince Connor to watch it, I was like, hey, let's watch this. It's like John Wick, but better. And, but it's not that. It's, this guy is so unstable, but he's so determined to get what he wants. Like, he takes these odd jobs that are connected to the corporation so he can get inside, and it gets all fucked up, and he gets basically brought to the point of death, but then he's taken in by this like their version of a church. I don't know what to call it. Their temple. Sorry, that's the right word. They're taken in by this temple people, and they're seen as outcasts because some of them are trans.
It's a bunch of trans women and women. It's just like you should really look into like the actual real world politics of this movie. It's really interesting shit.
I kind of just don't give a shit. I mean, I really don't. I just thought it was cool. And he kind of gets this whole, like, I get like kung fu theater out of this, but without being too cheesy. It's like a huge nod at it. You know, this guy with a bunch of conviction, excuse me, and willpower tries to enact his revenge, but then is proven that he's not ready, gets taken in by these temple people, and is in a sense trained by them. He's not trained by them because he knows how to fight, but he's like spiritually opening himself, and it's connected to the story, which I'll get to. After he's like done healing, he starts wailing on a punching bag, which is a really cool scene. But this guy that's a part of the temple, he has these two little drums. I don't know what they're called, but he starts doing like a beat off of it, and it's just like an unspoken, hey, be on beat. Like, when don't just wail, have a beat when you're fighting, because that's like how boxing works, and fighting in general, but boxing especially. And it's just this cool, like, him revivifying himself, and he goes through this, like, spiritual awakening through this type of weird drug that they have, which is a callback to the beginning of the movie, which talks about the monkey man, the Shanuam, or I think is called the Shanam, which is an old Indian tale about this monkey boy who's really hungry, and he finds upon a tall tree a mango that was, like, basically harnessed the sun, and it was like touched by the gods. But because he ate that, they tortured him and he suffered. And in some part of the story, he, like, rips his chest open, and they do a play on that later on in the movie. And I was like, this is so cool. This is the shit I eat up. I love this whole, like, this dude is not becoming a god, but he is using this quick old story from his culture to, like, recenter himself. Like, I love that stuff.
Dude, this movie was in my top 15 of last year. It's so fucking cool.
It is. It's so cool. And he does that, and there's just so much cool stuff. Like, there's, like, him and it being a boxer. Like, that's how it opens up too, is he's a part of this, like, wrestling boxing gig. He's, like, the bad guy in that. He's a failure, and then he comes back after this whole, like, revivification, and he wins a bunch of money to help the temple. And in doing so, they have his back and start helping him murder a bunch of people in this corporation.
It's so cool.
You gotta watch this. It's so cool. I watched it on Amazon Prime. I might watch it again soon, honestly.
Hell yeah.
Because it gave me some cool ideas. I rate that 6.5 Bionicles out of 7 Matanuis.
Fuck yeah, dude. Dude, that shit was so good.
It was so good, dude.
I'm pretty confident I messaged you guys afterwards. I was like, guys, fun fact, this movie's weird, but you'll like it. And you're like,
No, I said I bet, but I don't want to go to the theaters.
Yeah, that's fair. Dude, oh. I read Kid Eternity, which is one of multiple miniseries. It is a Vertigo book. It's the original from 1991. There's 3 issues, so it's like a good graphic novel, written by Grant Morrison with art by Duncan Fegretto. This was a gift to me from a friend of the show, patron Jeff Lawrence, because he's weird and likes weird shit, and he also knows what weird shit I like. And big Grant Morrison fan over here. And also, I really like this particular art style. Like, Duncan Fegretto does primarily with, I believe, paint. Don't quote me. But the certain art style he has is very similar to, like, a Bill Sikowitz or kind of Dave McKean. There's a lot of overlap in really weird, scratchy, usually not pencil art styles that I really fucking like. It's trippy as shit. Basically, this book is trippy as fuck, and I need to reread it. This was difficult in a good way to read. Basically, a dude dies, like, plot-wise. A dude dies, and he gets brought kind of back to life, but not really, by another guy who's dead, who's like a spirit or whatever, and needs to use this guy's soul to help him out with some shit, basically. It's super weird. Most of the plot in the first issue especially takes place over multiple time periods at the same time, which you don't understand until about halfway through the issue, so it is very confusing. We have effectively multiple scenes overlapping with very visually similar looking characters, so it's supposed to be repetitive and evocative of certain archetypes. It's just, it takes a minute to kind of get into. You have to reread pages multiple times, but I fuck with that. And they go on a quest to hell to go get some shit and to do a quest. I don't even, this shit is so esoteric. I don't even want to tell you anything else. It's fucking wild. Grant Morrison is better than Alan Moore. I'm sorry. I love Alan Moore, but Grant Morrison is just fucking better. The dialogue is incredibly poetic as well as really evocative of multiple different like sub themes and a bunch of overlapping mythologies. Another thing Grant Morrison does really well. Like Jacob, as another someone who I've discussed Arkham Asylum with a few too many times. Not sorry. The dissonance between what Grant Morrison wanted that book to be versus what Dave McKean wanted that book to be is kind of why it's so magically strange. Like the internal argument between those two people working on it. Like you need to read the script afterwards to see how many overlapping symbologies Grant is using at the same time for the same characters and shit. It's like that, but cranked up to fucking 20. It's nuts. I don't even know how many of these things are created whole cloth or what things are pulling from some cultures and others. I have no idea. But these characters get involved in kind of like a cold war between heaven and hell, sort of, ? And I don't even know, dude. This shit's wild. I fucking loved it. This is desperately in need of a reread. Duncan Fegretto is in probably my top 10 artists of all time. Incredible stuff. Incredibly dense, thorough work with really unique character designs and extremely expressive panel layouts. I felt like I was fucking tripping balls. And I don't like tripping balls in real life, but when I read a comic, I love tripping balls. Yeah, this shit was weird. These are the original printings. So they're 3 like very large, like one-shot sized. They're technically floppies, but they have binding on them. Colin, you'd know the technical term for this, but you know what I'm talking about.
Say that again.
They're like one-shot size. They're built like a trade paperback, but they're floppies. You know what that is?
Yeah, that's either called Perfect Bound or like soft cover.
Okay, that's what it was. I remembered that. I knew that you knew what it was. Yeah, it's that format. Like standard size, but it's that format, which is really prevalent for Vertigo in the 90s. Really cool one, just cracking open an old book, not like that old, but oldish. It's got a little bit of aging on it. I don't think these were open before. Like they were exposed to air. They weren't like fresh, but that binding cracked the fuck open. So that was cool. It just really added to the tactility of, the texture of the artwork and feeling like I was taking a really weird trip down a rabbit hole because it's from a different time period. It's from a really weird publisher. It's from a very strange writer, and it's dealing with really trippy shit. And it kind of all just coalesced. I read each individual like issue separately because they're so dense. I think it took me like a week over multiple different days just to kind of digest it and feel like I could move forward. This was fucking awesome. It's a shame because apparently this character gets brought back for a couple of other miniseries later, and they're not good, but I will check them out because I'm curious. Hot. Speaking of yes, Jeff Lawrence is hot. Speaking of cool or whatever, if you want to help support this show, like lifetime long money slaves of the show, Caitlin and Jeff Lawrence, you can go to patreon.com/dimecomicbros network. Give us money. We appreciate it. Or don't. You get early access to all of our podcast episodes, as well as exclusive access to happy hour segments where after each show we'll crack open a drink or not. Sometimes we're sober, sometimes we're not. We'll have a hoot and a holler. We'll talk about God knows what. That is all exclusive to our Patreon, as well as some cool artwork and other things, mostly made by Colin because Pookie has talent or whatever. Disgusting. Fuck you. Also, go check out the Substack. Jacob puts together a email newsletter that goes along with all of our shows, all of our episodes that include visual examples of what we're talking about, as well as kind of a consolidation of our thoughts. He puts a lot of effort into that, and it's free. So go check that out, as well as our partners over at Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire. Support your local comic shops. Local business good. Comics good. Local comic shop good. Jetpack goated with the sauce. You feel me?
I don't want to feel you.
I got lotion on my dick right now. I'm stroking my shape. The next show that'll be done is Dime Gaming Bros. So stay tuned for that in a bit. Jacob in editing, save yourself.
Nope.